ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our daily morning reading of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. We are reading from Canto 1, chapter 13, titled Dhṛtarāṣṭra Quits Home. Before I start speaking something on Srīmad Bhāgavatam, before I start glorifying Srīmad Bhāgavatam, I seek blessings from Srila Prabhupada, our entire Guru Parampara, and my Guru Maharaj. I am very thankful for the opportunity that Krishna and my Guru Srila Prabhupada is allowing me to speak on Srīmad Bhāgavatam, and I seek blessings from you all as well, so that I can speak something that will please Krishna and you devotees. Yesterday we read verse 26 of this chapter 13. So let's read verse 27.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Please repeat after me. यः स्वकात् परतो वेह जात निर्वेद आत्मवान् हृदि कृत्वा हरिं गेहात् प्रव्रजेत् स नरोत्तमः। यः स्वकात् परतो वेह जात निर्वेद आत्मवान् हृदि कृत्वा हरिं गृहात् प्रव्रजेत् स नरोत्तमः। Would anyone else like to recite, please?
यः स्वकात् परतो वेह
यः स्वकात् परतो वेह जात निर्वेद आत्मवान् हृदि कृत्वा हरिं गेहात् प्रव्रजेत् स नरोत्तमः। यः स्वकात् परतो वेह जात निर्वेद आत्मवान् हृदि कृत्वा हरिं गेहात् प्रव्रजेत् स नरोत्तमः। परतो वेह जात निर्वेद आत्मवान् हृदि कृत्वा हरिं गेहात् प्रव्रजेत् स नरोत्तमः। Let's look at word to word. यः anyone who Swakat by his own awakening Paradhava or by hearing from another Iha here in this world Jata becomes Nirvedaha indifferent to material attachment Atmavan consciousness Hridhi within the heart Kritva having been taken by Harim the personality of Godhead Gehat from home Pravrajit goes away Saha he is Nar Uttamaha the first class human being. Translation by Krishna Kripamurti, His loving divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. He is certainly a first class man who awakens and understands either by himself or from others the falsity and misery of this material world and thus leaves home and depends fully on the personality of Godhead residing within his heart. Let's read the purport. There are three classes of transcendentalists, namely, 1. The Dhīra, or the one who is not disturbed by being away from family association. 2. One in the renounced order of life, a sannyasi by frustrated sentiment. And 3. A sincere devotee of the Lord who awakens God consciousness by hearing and chanting and leaves home depending completely on the personality of Godhead who resides in his heart. The idea is that the renounced order of life, after a frustrated life of sentiment in the material world, may be the stepping stone on the path of self-realization. But real perfection of the path of liberation is attained when one is practiced to depend fully on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who lives in everyone's heart as Paramatma. One may live in the darkest jungle, alone, out of home, but a steadfast devotee knows very well that he is not alone. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is with him, and he can protect his sincere devotee in any awkward circumstance. One should therefore practice devotional service at home, hearing and chanting the holy name, quality, form, pastimes, entourage, etc., in association with pure devotees. And this practice will help one awaken God consciousness in proportion to one's sincerity of purpose. One who desires material benefit by such devotional activities can never depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he sits in everyone's heart. Nor does the Lord give any direction to persons who worship him for material gain. Such materialistic devotees may be blessed by the Lord with material benefits, but they cannot reach the stage of the first-class human being as above mentioned. There are many examples of such sincere devotees in the history of the world, especially in India, and they are our guides on the path of self-realization. Mahatma Vidur is one such great devotee of the Lord, and we should all try to follow in his lotus footsteps for self-realization. So let's read the translation again. Srila Prabhupada translates this verse as, he is certainly a first-class man who awakens and understands either by himself or from others the falsity and misery of this material world, and thus leaves home and depends fully on the personality of Godhead residing within his heart. So Srila Prabhupada is calling this material world false and full of misery. So there is a word in this verse, nirveda. Nirveda means indifferent to material attachment. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he breaks it down, this word, as material world is false and full of misery, and the one who understands this, one who awakens and develops two qualities, he becomes nirveda and atmavan, indifferent to material attachment and conscious of the fact that Krishna is residing within every jiva's heart. One who develops these two qualities, that person is a narottam. And what that person does is gehat pravrajitsa. He, gehat means home, and pravrajitsa means lives. So he leaves the home. So Sri Prabhupada is calling material world full of misery. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita 8.15, where Krishna also calls material world dukkhalayam. He says that Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhi paramam yatim. So Krishna also says that this material world, the world we are living in, is dukha alaya. Alaya means abode, and dukh means misery. So he says that this material world is a abode of misery, abode of suffering. So as we talked yesterday, one may think in the material world that one is enjoying, but actually one doesn't realize that he is actually suffering, because even the pleasures in this material world, they are always coupled with misery. Like we talked yesterday, sukh, dukh, hani, labh, jay, parajay. So even if we get pleasures in this material world, they are always coupled with, they are always shadowed by some or the other misery. What do we say? Buy one, get one free. So that's the offer in this material world. But we don't realize what misery is being shadowed by the pleasures we are experiencing. And also, Srila Prabhupada is saying that this material world is false. Now we may wonder that how come it is false? It is real. I am experiencing it. I am seeing it. I am feeling it. I am experiencing it with my senses. So it cannot be false. But as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita verse 8.15 that this material world is dukkhalayam, and another characteristic is it is asashvatam. It is not sashvat, it is not eternal, and in other words it is temporary. So because it is temporary, it is called asat. Sat means the what is eternal, what never vanishes. So then, as this verse says, Yah swakat parato veha jat nirved atmavan. So, nirveda, the one who comes to the platform of understanding that this material world is dukkhalayam, it is asashvatam, either by swakat, either by their own endeavor, by their own understanding, or by somebody's inspiration. So, then we realize if this world is not sat, then if this is asat, then what is sat? Then one searches for what is sat. And as Brahma Samhita says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. So Sat Krishna is the Vigraha, he is the form, he is the embodiment of Sat. He is the eternal, Chit, the intelligence, and Ananda, the blissfulness. So Krishna is an embodiment. So Krishna is Sat. So one who comes to the stage of Jat Nirveda, he becomes Atmavan, he becomes aware of the fact that Krishna, he is residing in every Jiva's heart as Paramatma. So then there is no, for such a person, there is no difference between his own family members or the whole world, because he can see, he is able to see Krishna in every Jiva's heart, and for him, it is easy to kehat pravrajit, so it is easy for him to leave home. So the crux of these verse is that the one who realizes this, he becomes, he is ready to come to a stage of being indifferent to material attachment, indifferent to the family attachment. He is ready to leave home, leave his wife, his relatives, his children, his opulences. He is ready to leave it all because he has the realization that Krishna is in every Jiva's heart, and then he has no fear. So that's the crux of the verse. Then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining three types of transcendentalists. So first he is saying that there are some spiritualists who are dhira, who are not disturbed by being away from family association. So we are going through this chapter where Vidura is counseling Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So for us, Vidur is the best example, who always lived in the royal palace, but he was able to leave the royal palace, he was able to surpass his family ties with his loving elder brother Dhṛtarāṣṭra, Pandavas. He shared a beautiful relationship with them. He always protected them. But he was able to, when time came, he was able to leave it all, and he went to all the holy places, he met all the spiritualists, and when it was needed, he came back as well. So, Vidura is an example of Dhira. Then, Shukdev Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhāgavatam, as we saw in the first chapter, as soon as he came out of his mother's womb, he ran away from home. So he was ready to Gehat Pravrajetsa as soon as he came out of his mother's womb. And even though his father was running after him, Vyasadeva was running after him, calling him, "Oh son, please come back." But it didn't make any difference to him. So Shukdev Goswami is another example of such a Dhira. Then Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, even though he was a child, then he was very much loved by his mother. But he prioritized devotion over his family attachment. Even when his father was giving him so much troubles and traumas, he was being threatened, but still he showed his prioritization over devotion. Then second category of transcendentalist Srila Prabhupada is mentioning is the one who is in renounced order of life, one who is renounced out of frustration from material life. So, example of in Shastra there are examples of such people who have taken up to sannyas out of frustration. There is an example of a king named Bhartrihari. So this king, he was very much attached to his wife, but when he finds out, there's an interesting episode where he is given a fruit that can make someone eternal. So he thinks that he should give this fruit to his beloved wife. But the wife was in love with some horsemen. So wife gave the fruit to horsemen. She thought that he should be immortal. But the horseman was in love with some dancer who used to dance in the royal court. So he gave the fruit to that lady. And that lady said, "This fruit is perfect for my master, who is the king. I'm dancing for him." So she gave the fruit to the king. So that fruit came back to the king, and then he did his investigation and he found out that his wife is not loyal to him. So in this way he was frustrated in his relationship. So he took up renounced order of life. He left the kingdom. But later he struggled to keep up his vows for renunciation. And there is another example in Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, of Shaubhari Muni. Shaubhari Muni was also renunciant. He used to perform very harsh penances, austerity. Under the water he used to do his tapasya. But once he happened to see two fishes mating, and then his lusty desires got awakened, and he came out of water, and then he married 50 princesses. So in this way, such a people who take sannyas being frustrated by material attachments, either in personal life or in career or in or some failure or some personal loss. but base of their sannyas is not some spiritual understanding, but it is just frustration. So such people, such transcendentalists, they struggle to keep up their vows, and there is a possibility of fall down. Then there is third type Sri Prabhupada is mentioning: sincere devotees of the Lord who awaken God consciousness by hearing and chanting and leaves home depending completely on the personality of Godhead who resides in his heart. So, Srila Prabhupada has emphasized for us that for our Krishna conscious devotees, it is not necessary, one does not need to externally renounce anything. But a Krishna conscious person can still achieve perfection of their life if they live responsibly and they engage in their devotional service while they are in their material relations, and they see everything as Krishna's. So for them there is no need of renunciation, there is no need to abandon material things, but the need is to abandon the material attachment. So by practice they learn to depend on Krishna and they shift their attachment from their family, the temporary family, to their eternal companion Krishna. So such a gradual renunciation is what it is recommended. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is trying to say by giving us these three classifications. And then in this verse, there are two ways of awakening given. So Swakata or Paratava. Swakata means one who awakens and understands by themselves, and Paratava is they come to that understanding by listening, by hearing from somebody else. So in last few chapters we are seeing that Bhishmadev, he left his body. Then we saw Krishna Swadhama Ukkade. Krishna himself also left for his own abode. Then we will see soon that Pandavas will also leave their palace. So like that, they are all leaving. So this verse, there are many verses in Srimad Bhagavatam that are inspiring, and this verse is one of them. So Pandavas are an example of Swakata. They came to that understanding. We will see that when Krishna when Krishna left for his abode, then Pandavas, Yudhishthira will say that I no longer want to rule this kingdom. I am ready to leave home. Then Bhima, Arjuna, they also say that we have always been your servant, so we have no attachment for this kingdom, so we will also follow you. Then Nakul, Sahadev, Draupadi, they all follow Yudhishthira Maharaj, and they also leave home without any attachment. So they are an example of Swakata. And in the same family, we see an example of Paratava. Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we will see soon in the next few verses that Dhṛtarāṣṭra also eventually leaves home. But he came to that understanding by the counseling of Mahatma Vidur. Vidurji had to come back, chastise him, tell him very harsh words, telling that what are you doing? How come you are living in your nephew Bhima's house? How come you are surviving on the food left over from Pandavas? You have been you have given them so much trouble, and now how come you are living in their house? So he chastised Dhṛtarāṣṭra so much, and by that chastisement, by that counseling, then Dhṛtarāṣṭra come to that understanding that he should leave home. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra is an example of Paratava. So our verse says, who is a Narottam? The first class man. First class man is who? Either Yah Swakat Parato Veha, either Swakata or Paratova. There is two ways. Now what needs to happen? Two things. Nirveda Atmavan. Come to an understanding, awaken and come to an understanding that this material world is false. It is full of misery. And become Atmavan. Become conscious of the fact that Krishna is the same Krishna that is within the heart of my family members, the same Krishna is in the heart of the whole world. So there is no difference. They don't limit themselves to the boundaries of the home. They become free. So come to that statement, that state, such a person becomes Narottama, first class man, and he is ready to Gehat Pravrajesa, he is ready to leave home. So that is according to Vidurji, that is the definition of Narottam that Vidurji gives. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is ending it as there are many examples of such sincere devotees in the history of the world, especially in India, and they are our guides on the path of self-realization. Mahatma Vidur is one such great devotee of the Lord, and we should all try to follow in his lotus footsteps for self-realization. So Srila Prabhupada is being very polite, very humble, and he is giving credit to Vidurji, which is due, no doubt. But for us, the most recent inspiration is Srila Prabhupada himself. Srila Prabhupada, his family used to live in Calcutta, and he used to live in Jhansi, managing his pharmaceutical business. So Srila Prabhupada always tried, when he was trying to start a league of devotees in Jhansi, he was also trying that his family becomes Krishna conscious, they are also engaged in devotional service. But that did not happen. So eventually Srila Prabhupada left home. His family members, his neighbors, they didn't even take him seriously because he was always living in Jhansi, leaving home, coming back. So he left home, and then he was, when his endeavor in Jhansi didn't work out, then he left for Vrindavan. He was living in Vrindavan, and Krishna was in Vrindavan. So, he had reached his destination. He didn't need to leave, but he still left Vrindavan. That he made his another home in Vrindavan. Then he left his first home. He made his another home in Vrindavan, but then he left his home in Vrindavan as well. Why? Because he had the realization that the same Krishna that is in Vrindavan, the same Krishna is in America as well. So with 40 Indian rupees in his pocket, he left for America. He didn't worry, he didn't think, where will I live, where will I eat, where will I sleep. So he didn't worry about his bread and butter. But within no time, in few months, Srila Prabhupada himself was feeding, let alone the worry about his own eating, he was feeding a lot of Westerners. So that is the mercy of Krishna for a person who has firm faith in him, that as we read in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rakshishya iti vishwaso, that Krishna will always protect me. So for such a person, Krishna is always there. We see an example in Shastra about Sakshi Gopal. So to give witness for his devotee, that his devotee is not lying, the deity of Gopalji went all the way from Vrindavan to the state of Orissa in India. So that is to give protection to his devotee. Then Narasimha Dev to give protection to Prahlad Maharaj, to prove his words that yes, my Lord Vishnu is in every particle of the world, and he is in this pillar as well. So to prove his words right, Narasimhadev appeared out of that pillar. So in Sakshi Gopal's story, Krishna did this domestic travel. But in Srila Prabhupada's story, he did international travels. We say that deity of Krishna is Krishna himself. So Srila Prabhupada established so many temples. He installed so many deities of Krishna all over the world. And wherever Srila Prabhupada said to Krishna, you stand here as a deity, Krishna did that. So that is the most recent example for us, if we think about it, that Krishna does protect his devotees. Srila Prabhupada established Radha Londoneshwara. So he asked Krishna to stand in London, and he is standing there as Radha Londoneshwara, there is Radha Pariseshwara. He is standing in Paris to keep, to prove his devotee right. So if we try and follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, if we try and follow the process he has given us, we are talking about being bound in material attachments. So when we are bound, when we are in a jail, then we realize that there is freedom as well, there is an outside world as well. So, and if we, so we are just in the jail to to pass the punishment for our crime. So there is no need to be overly attached with the cell we are sleeping in, or with the cellmates or our jailmates. That is because we know that this is temporary. I don't belong here. I belong in the outside world, and as long as I just fulfill the term of my punishment and I don't commit any more crimes, I abide by the law book, then I can be free. So similarly, we are in this material world to suffer or to enjoy the fruits of our prior karma. So we are just burning our karma. And as long as we follow the process given by Srila Prabhupada, he has studied the law books for us. He has given us the process, he has given us the summary, follow these 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds daily. So he has given us the process. As long as we have faith in Srila Prabhupada, we follow his footsteps, as he is inspiring us to follow footsteps of Vidura. As if we follow footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, we can also, if we are sincere, we can also come to a stage of detachment, renunciation by the end of our life. And we can also meet Krishna. Then we have example of, in our movement, we have example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born as Nimai Pandit in Navadvip. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also took sannyas. He also left home. He was only 24 years of age. He had his young wife, his loving mother, who was aging. So, but in that time, the sannyasis were given more respect, more spiritual authority. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, and he had come for a mission to elevate all the fallen souls to Krishna consciousness. So to fulfill that mission, when he thought that it is necessary to take sannyas, he did not hesitate to leave his young wife, aging mother. He didn't show any attachment for home. And then just because he was Krishna himself, but just for the formality of society at the time, he took sannyas from a Mayavadi sannyasi named Keshav Bharti. He did all the rituals of sannyas, he shaved his head, everything. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is another example for us. He exemplifies detachment. So then in this purport, we learn some lessons as well. We see that Vidurji, after 30 years of spending time away from home, he has come home and not because of his attachment for that royal palace or for his attachment to Pandavas, but he has come home to give detachment to his half-brother Dhṛtarāṣṭra, who is struggling to come to that stage of detachment. So he has come to give. So Vidurji is an example. We learn from Vidurji that a Vaishnava is not envious of others. Vidurji, when he left home, he was insulted. In fact, Vidurji was never given any respect by Kauravas, because even though he had the same father as Dhṛtarāṣṭra, Vyasadeva, but he was born of a maid servant, a dasi, a suta. So he was always insulted as a suta putra, and Dhṛtarāṣṭra had Duryodhana had literally insulted him when he had left home. But we see from his example that Vaishnava doesn't hold grudges. He doesn't envy anyone. When the time comes, he is always ready to give Krishna consciousness. So we see, in our case, we see that we hold grudges when some of our family member or some friends or somebody says something to us, insults us. Even if we don't want to, we hold grudges, we hold it in our heart. But we should see, that the one who insults us, the one who brings misery to us, we see that, those who are our near and dear ones, they only can hurt us. Even, somebody passing on the road, if they say something, it doesn't affect us so much. But when our family members say something or they insult us, they hurt us, it affects us so much. But we should see that they represent Krishna, and we should thank them actually that they are helping us by burning our karma. Their insult, it gives us realization that nobody truly loves me. Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Krishna says, in other words, Suhrida Sarvabhutana, that I am the Suhrad, I am the well-wisher of all the Sarvabhutana, of all the jivas. So, by their insult, we come to the realization that nobody truly loves me. Nobody can hold my hand to the end. There is always a limit in any relationship, but our relationship with Krishna, our eternal relationship with Krishna, Krishna never leaves our hand. Even we have, we all have so much attachment for our mothers. But our mother only looks after us, only takes care of us once after we are born. But between the previous mother and between the new mother, when we are in the womb for 9 months, if we are in a human womb, or more or less months or days, if we are in different yoni. So, who looks after us between these two mothers? It is Krishna. Krishna is always sitting in our heart. He is always accompanying us, always witnessing us, always guiding us. So, by the insult or any hurt from any family member or anyone, after any disappointment from family member, we should actually thank them and come to the realization that Krishna is my only eternal companion. So, we should choose Krishna. There is a nice story once. Of Grihastha Sheth, businessman. He went to see a sannyasi and he requested the sannyasi that please come to my home and bless my family members. But the sannyasi was annoyed. He was like, no, I don't associate with Grihasthas. They are very much attached to their family life. But the Grihastha businessman, the Sheth, he insisted again and again. So the sannyasi, he agreed to go to his house. When he reached his house, it was very lavish, luxurious house. So he says, wow, you have a very nice house. And Grihastha says, oh, it is Krishna's house. I just live in it. Then the sannyasi says so many cows in his front, in his courtyard. So he says, oh, you have so many cows. Then the Grihastha says, they are Krishna's cows. I just look after them, I just serve them. And I'm thankful to Krishna that he's giving me opportunity to serve them. Then when they go inside, the sannyasi says, you have a beautiful family, beautiful wife, children. They are all very nice. So you have a nice family. So Grihastha says, this is Krishna's family. I just look after them for Krishna. I'm thankful to Krishna that he is giving me opportunity to serve him as my family. And then they go to the altar of his home, and then the sannyasi says, oh, you have this Radha Krishna as well. So the Grihastha says, yes, they are mine. Actually, they are the only ones that are mine. Everything else is Krishna's. So when we come, even if we are in Grihastha life, if we live with that understanding that everything that is we think belongs to us, it is given to us by Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna, and we are just, he's just kindly allowing us to use it for our time on this earth. So that is the fulfillment of Bhagavad Gita verse 5.29, where Krishna says that Bhoktaram yagna tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrada Sarvabhutanam Gnatva Mam Shanti Mrutshati. Then that gives us realization that Krishna is the ultimate bhokta, ultimate enjoyer, and he is Bhoktaram Yagna Tapsa. He is the ultimate enjoyer of all the Yagna and Tapa. Yagna means sacrifices, and Tapa, austerities. He is the ultimate enjoyer, ultimate beneficiary of all of them. And he is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the Ishvara of all the universes and all the demigods. He is the topmost. And Suhrada Sarvabhutana, he is everyone's ultimate well-wisher, all jivas, Sarvabhutana. Gnatva Mam Shanti Mrutshati. So this verse Krishna says himself that knowing me, one who knows me as the Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasa, ultimate enjoyer, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, one who comes to realization that everything belongs to me, one who has faith that Suhrada Sarvabhutanam, I am the ultimate well-wisher of that person and all the jivas. One who comes to that realization, that person, Gnatva Mam, knowing me, Shanti Mrutshati, he attains ultimate peace. So that is, Srila Prabhupada says that this is the ultimate peace formula, to have peace in the family. If we see all the family members as if we are able to see Krishna in them all the time. So no matter they give us sukh or dukh, we see that this is Krishna giving me sukh or dukh. Just Krishna is residing in that person's heart. It is just that body, but it is Krishna giving me sukh or dukh. And same Krishna is in the outside world as well, outside my family as well. So that broadens our horizon, and that makes our heart big. And as it is said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole Vasudha, the whole Prithvi, the whole earth is a Kutumb because it belongs to Vasudev. That's why it's called Vasudha. So then we are not limited to our own small family of our partner, children, our mother, father. We are not limited. We become broader, broad-minded. And we are able to embrace the whole world as our own family. This is what we learn from Vidura, that Vaishnava is never envious and Vaishnava is able to see Krishna in everything. Then there is something we learn from Dhṛtarāṣṭra as well. Dhṛtarāṣṭra, he did hold on to his attachment for long. He became old, as we saw in previous verses. His body was fraying, he was nearly to the fag end of his life, but still he was not able to give up the attachment. But his Dhṛtarāṣṭra, if there is one thing to learn from him, it is that he gives us hope that even late realization, it is still valuable. Despite of living a life dominated by material attachment, ultimately he did come to the state of detachment. So, it is never too late to call Krishna. That is what we learn from Dhṛtarāṣṭra. It is never too late, even though Krishna resides right in our heart. It is said in one of the Upanishads that it is like two birds in our heart, and Krishna is always there in our heart, but we have always turned our back to Krishna. But Dhṛtarāṣṭra gives us hope that it is never too late to turn towards Krishna. And then this, we often hear this shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 22.54, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha Kaya, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhihaya. So, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, even though he did not have a very friendly bond with Vidura while he was in the palace, but just Lava Matra, just moments association, just a little pep talk from Vidura, it was enough for Dhṛtarāṣṭra to come to the stage of detachment and ultimately get liberation. We will see in following verses towards the end of this chapter that Dhṛtarāṣṭra ultimately does leave home with Gandhari. He does very severe penances, and he does get liberation. So he did come to that stage just by a little association with Vidurji. So this whole thing, it gives us a firm belief that we should never leave association of devotees, no matter, we don't know when something will strike our soul, and we will also come to the stage of detachment. We don't know what words from Bhāgavatam will touch our heart and change our life. We don't know what teachings of our acharyas will transform our heart. We don't know. So as long as Srila Prabhupada says, as long as we live in the association of devotees, we follow the four regulative principles, we do the deity worship, we remain at least in the mode of goodness. So there is a possibility of coming to this stage of detachment. So the significant word from these words is Nirveda. So Veda, we can also understand it differently. Veda, what does Veda mean? Anyone? Knowledge. Yes. Veda means to know, to learn. So Nirveda can also mean to unlearn, to unknow. And what is to be unlearned? We have always learned, we have always believed that I am this body, aham, and mameti. Everything related to this body is mine, aham mameti. So that is what we have Veda, that is what we have learned. But then now let's get unlearned. Let's unlearn this. Let's come to an understanding that I'm not just this body, I'm the soul that resides in the body. So Nirveda also means unlearning this. For example, Valmiki, the story of Valmiki Rishi, the author of Ramayana. His Grihastha name was Ratnakar. He was a robber, and he used to wait in the forest, and passing by yatris, he would rob them, threaten them, sometimes kill them, hurt them, and rob money from them. And that was his way of surviving. That's how he provided for his family. So once Narad Muni goes by that forest and he stops Narad Muni, and so Narad Muni asks him a question: why are you doing all this violence? Why are you doing all these sinful activities? So Ratnakar says that it is for my family. How else will I provide for my family? So Narad Muni asks him, but the sinful reactions of these action you are doing, is your family going to share? Is your family going to share those sinful reactions of yours? So he says, of course, they will. If they are enjoying the fruits of my sinful actions, they will also enjoy the reactions. Narad Muni says, no, don't just assume, go and ask your family. So Ratnakar goes to his home. He asks his wife that, hey, because I'm doing all this for you guys, for you and my children, of course you will be my partner. If you are my partner in crime, you will be my partner in punishment as well, right? And she says, no, my job is to cook, look after the children. How you provide for me, how you bring the food, it is your question. I have no share in your sinful reactions. So that was a wake-up call for Ratnakar. That gave him detachment, that the family that I was thinking, mine, so I was thinking I'm this body, these relations of this body, my wife, my children, they are mine, aham, mameti, but they are not actually mine. So that gave him detachment, and then he became a renunciant, he became Valmiki Rishi, and he wrote this Ramayana. He had so many spiritual realizations just by that one question from Narad Muni. So this is Nirveda. Valmiki came to that state of Nirveda, of unlearning that aham mameti, I am the body and all the bodily relations are mine. All the temporary body relations are mine, the temporary body and temporary relations. So that belief, unlearning of that belief is also Nirveda. So, people think that, we think that are ours, they are not actually ours. Actually, Krishna is our only ultimate companion. So this Valmiki's story is an example that people we think are ours are not actually ours. And then the things we think are mine, my home, my phone. I might think that this is my phone. Phone gets lost and I will be worried, I will be crying, oh, where is my phone? But the phone is not going to cry, where is my owner? So the things I think are mine, they don't think I am theirs. So, and the land, the piece of land we own, we think this is my home. So we have attachment for the home. We change houses very often, and a lot of people ask me the question, a lot of people ask me, is like, how can you live such beautiful house, but I'm like, it is just ours for a certain period of time. What's the point of being attached to brick and mortar? So, but often we get attached to the house, to the land. But the thing is, 100 years ago, the land we think we own now, half of the time we don't really own it, bank owns it. But 100 years ago, that land was on somebody else's name, and 100 years later, it will be on somebody else's name. So the land also, the land, home, the possessions that we think are ours, they are also not ours, but we are in that delusion. Actually, Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna, and he is just, he is Bhupati, the whole land, Bhumi Devi, he is the husband of Bhumi Devi, the whole land belongs to him. He is just letting us use it kindly, just for the time we are here. But we live in that way, that knowledge that this is ours. So, Nirveda also sparks a thought in us that, is it actually yours? So, Nirveda means wiping out this understanding, deleting this data, this understanding, that understanding of aham mameti. In Shastra, in Bhāgavatam, there is often an example of a bee. We call, in Gujarati we call makhi, in Hindi they call makhi. So what a bee does, it is attracted to the fragrance, the color, the nectar in the flower. So the bee goes towards the flower and gets so engrossed in enjoying the juice, that nectar, that fragrance. He forgets that he needs to get out and go back, take that nectar to my nest. Bee forgets. And then the lotus or the flower, it closes the petals and bee gets entrapped, never comes out and dies there. So there is often an example given of this bee for a person who gets so much engrossed in enjoying the temporary body, the relation, the home, the family, the children. There is often an example given of this bee for such a person who get entrapped in family life. We see, but what happens is such a person, they can get those who those who have attraction for these bodily pleasures, the sensual pleasures. They instead of, the human life is meant for spiritual advancement, but instead of advancement, if they get entrapped by the pleasures that human body can give us, they degrade, they go down. And perfect example we often hear is Ajamil. Ajamil was born in a Brahman family. So Brahmanas are meant to have a higher spiritual understanding than the rest. And he was a married man, but he got attracted to the beauty of this prostitute, just like the bee got attracted to the beauty of the flower. Ajamil was attracted to the beauty of this prostitute. So he, and this attraction made him fall down. He left his family life, he abandoned his family duties, and he started living a sinful life with this prostitute. So Ajamil is an example of a person who gets undue attachment for family. So we see, this is an example how material beauty, it can distract us and destroy us. Then another example we see is of Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj, he had come to that level of detachment that he was a king. He had a beautiful family. He could leave all that. He left his kingdom. He left his family. He was living as a renunciant in a hut in a forest. But just when he saw a mother deer was pregnant, was attacked by a tiger, and he got curious, and in anxiety the mother deer gave birth to the baby deer, and then Bharat Maharaj saw that, and he took that baby deer, looked after us. So after leaving the whole kingdom, his own family, his own wife, children, he got attached to this baby deer. So then he started becoming irregular in his sadhana. He was always worried about if the deer ate or not, where, if he can't see the deer, he would be worried where the deer is, try to find him. So the deer became the reason for his distraction, and that became an obstruction in his path of liberation, and he had to get a rebirth as a deer. So for such people who are too much attached to the family life, like Ajamil, or who have undue attachments like Bharat Maharaj, there is a term in Srīmad Bhāgavatam for them. They are called Griha Medhi. So the Vedic injunction is Asato Ma Jyotir Gamaya. What is asat, what is temporary, you leave it, and Gamaya, you do your gati, you go towards Jyoti, you go towards light, to light, what is permanent. So there is verse in second canto, Srīmad Bhāgavatam 2:1-2. There is these two terms, griheshu, the grihastha and medhi. So the verse says that apashyatam atma tattva griheshu grihamedinam. So the one who apashyata, pashyata means see, apashyata means not see. The one who does not see what? Atma tattva, apashyatam atma tattva. The one who does not see the real goal of life, the real welfare of Atman, the soul. The one who doesn't focus on the topics of Atma Tattva, but he becomes griha medhi, becomes attached to the family life. And he gets stuck as a grihastha. Such a person is defined as a graha medhi. So in that verse, it starts as Nrinam Santi Sahasrasha. So there are hundreds of topics such people will discuss. There is politics, sports, Gramya Charsha, gossip, everything, economics, everything they will discuss. But there is one thing they will not discuss is Atma Tattva. So that is a symptom of Griha Medhi. They will have a lot of knowledge about a lot of topics, but they will have zero knowledge about or zero interest in topics about Atma Tattva, topics of soul. Once I have a relative uncle who often lives in India, often sends me WhatsApp things, and he knows that I'm spiritually inclined, so he will send me the spiritual stuff. So once I saw the time he sent the message, and then I asked him, that must be like 3:30 o'clock in India, how come you are awake at that time? So he very proudly says, I always wake up at 3:30. Then I got, hopeful that, every time I visit him, I say, you should start chanting, this is the Brahma Muhurat, you should chant. So I was very excited that he might be chanting now. So I asked him, have you started chanting? He said, no. The reason is, I get pressure. At that time, 3:30 in the morning, I get the pressure to use the bathroom. So I wake up, and then I'm like, okay, then you shower. And he said, yes, I shower straight away. Then I said, then you can chant, right? He said, no, I just relax. I have freshened up, I have brushed my teeth, I had showered, so all my morning things are done. So I just relax in my bed. And I remain in my room until the rest of the family wakes up. I just browse WhatsApp or Facebook, because all my duties are done. So like that, even if they will have time, even if they will have inspiration, but they will not get inclination to do something. A lot of people say, the symptom of Griha Medhi is like when you try to preach someone, please chant at least one round. For me, chant one round. We give them books, we give them beads, hoping that one day they will touch them. But what I have seen is, I have seen a lot of people, close to their death, even they have been dead. If they have not got the practice of chanting or practice of devotional service, throughout their life when they are young, it is in no way that they will turn to spirituality all of a sudden. When we try to tell them, they say, I'm so busy right now, but I'm sure when I get retired, when I get old, I will do all this. This is my aim. This is what I want to do when I get older. But that does not happen. That's what I have seen. So that's a symptom of Griha Medhi. So there is a Grihastha who is the ideal. He lives with family. He has loving relationship with the family. But the center of the family is God. Center of family is Krishna. So that is a God conscious, Krishna conscious family. So for that grihastha, it is okay, it is easy, it is possible to become a vanaprastha. There are four, there is a varnashram system Krishna has given us. Krishna says, Chatur Varanya Maya Srishtam. There is the system of four varna and ashram is established by me. So Krishna has established this system of brahmachari. When you are young, you remain a celibate, then become gruhastha, you get married, you start a family life, you have children. So for a grihastha, the one who lives according to the injunctions of Shastra, who lives regulated life, for grihastha it is possible to become vanaprastha. But one who from brahmacharya goes to grihamedhi, then he remains grihamedhi. There is no vanaprastha and eventually sannyas ashram for a grihamedhi. So because grihastha has a practice of seeing Krishna in the heart of his family, then it is easy for him to leave home because Krishna is in the heart of the rest of the world as well. So, Dhṛtarāṣṭra was, and such grihamedhi people, another symptom of them is they are always envious of other grihamedhi people, because they think that this is my family, this is my priority, but that my neighbor, my relative, they are not mine, so envious of them. But grihastha, very simple as we said, he can see that this is also Krishna, that is also Krishna, even if giving me misery, even if giving me sorrow, outside person, anyone, a family member, they are all Krishna. So grihastha is not envious of others, but grihamedhi is always envious of other grihamedhi people. One country is envious of another country. So that's the basis of all the miseries, being grihamedhi. So they are never in good terms, They might make a show of good relationship outside, but inside they are envious. They cannot see if somebody is progressing or, spiritually or materially, if they are progressing, they cannot see. So that's the symptom of a grihamedhi. Like Dhṛtarāṣṭra, he has lived a life of a grihamedhi. He was always attached to the throne. That he, for his first priority was he himself. He wanted to be the king. Even though he was blind, not qualified for the throne, when Pandu was enthroned, he was very envious. So he always had carried that frustration. And then when it was time for second generation, he also could not accept that Yudhishthira will become the next king. He wanted his son Duryodhana to be the king. So aham mameti, grihamedhi. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra is an example of a grihamedhi. So for such a grihamedhi, it is not possible to leave home, as our verse is saying. Develop detachment, nirveda atmavan, and then what does it say? Gehat pravrajetse. So for a grihamedhi, it's not possible to become a renunciant and leave home. So this leaving home, home also symbolizes shelter. We seek shelter in the home. We seek shelter in people. So leaving home, it also symbolizes leaving our dependence on everything except for Krishna. So this leaving home is very much glorified. And it is not in all cases necessary that we literally leave home, but leaving home symbolizes leaving shelter at anything except for Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj as well in 7th Canto, verse 755, he says a beautiful verse to his father. He inspires his father that you should also leave home and live in jungle. So he says that Tat sadhu manye sukharta dehinam
तत्साधु मन्ये सुरवर्यदेहिनां सदा समुद्विग्नधियाम् असद्ग्रहाम् सदा समुद्विग्नधियाम् असद्ग्रहाम् हित्वात्मपातं गृहमान्धकूपम् त्वात्मपातं गृहमान्धकूपम् वनं गतो यद् हरिमाश्रयेत
So, Prahlad Maharaj says that Tat Sadhu Manye Suravarya Dehinam. For Dehinam, for the embodied people, those who have accepted material body, I believe, Manye, that Sadhu, the best thing for them is Suravarya, the best of devotee, best of Asuras. He is addressing his father. He is saying that, Sada Samudvigna Dhyam Asad Bhahat. Those who are embodied, their intelligence is always udvigna, always anxiety. They are always experiencing anxiety because they are always thinking, they have accepted asad vahat, that they have accepted asad, the thinking that I'm this material body and everything related to this body is mine. They have this understanding, that's why they are always anxious. But, and that's why they hitva, they live atma patam, they live what is good for their soul, and griham andhakupam, they fall in the andhakupa, the blind well, the well which does not have water, but the grihamedi, the dehina, the material body person, thinks that there is water. He has hope that he will get water in there. So in that water he falls in that andhakupam of material life, family life, and he is never able to come out. So for such a grihamedi person, what is best to do is vanam gato. He should leave home and go to forest. And Harim Ashrayeta, and take shelter of Hari. So that's what Hiranyakashipu, he was giving so many tribulations to Prahlad Maharaj, but being a Vaishnava, he still gives him this advice of leaving home. So Prahlad Maharaj, though he himself did not renounce the Grihastha life, he was just a child. He did not renounce as a householder. But he taught, that even from young age, one should start preparing for that consciousness of being renounced, being detached from the family life, from relations and material attachments. So eventually that consciousness can take us to renunciation. And then another example is Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni had Supreme Personality of Godhead himself as Kapil Muni as his son, but still he left attachment. He and his wife Devahuti, they raised a very spiritually advanced son. But he was still able to leave home and renounce in the end of his life. So from these renunciations, we learn, that for Grihastha life is necessary for, Brahmacharya Grihastha. For these stages of life, material life is necessary. But it should not be the end of our life, we should have the goal to develop attachment for Krishna and leave the attachment for our families. So I think we are getting late, so I will just finish quickly. So for us, Grihasthas, what living home actually looks like, Srila Prabhupada says that whatever you do, there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita 9.27, Krishna says, he demands from us Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi dadasi, yat pashyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, yat karoshi yadashnasi, whatever you eat, yajjuhoshi, whatever austerities and penances you perform, sacrifices you perform, yat karoshi yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi dadasi yat, whatever charity you gave, tat kurushva madarpanam, you do it as an offering to me. So Srila Prabhupada says that if we live a life of a Krishna conscious householder, then even without physically renouncing our grihastha life, a Krishna conscious householder can also get the same result as a renunciant and get the goal of life. So if we live responsibly, if we keep in a grihastha life, if we keep Krishna as the center, if we continue the steady sadhana, our Guru Pradatta sadhana, if we continue chanting the Nam Jap of our Guru Pradatta mantra, if we practice dedicating our time and energy in deity worship, reading scriptures, if we have a practice of dedicating our time, energy, whatever we do, if, as he says, whatever you eat, whatever we eat, we offer to Krishna. So if we have developed this practice as a householder, so then spiritual advancement is a gradual process. There is no need of a drastic renunciation, but it is a gradual process. And so while fulfilling our material duties as a grihastha, we can still develop Krishna consciousness. So the essence of this verse is, to develop this detachment, and we can do this by the process Srila Prabhupada has given, chanting regularly, deity worship, raising Krishna conscious children, teaching them the stories of Krishna, discussing, the name, form, pastimes, qualities of Krishna, reading scriptures together as a family. So by living in family as well, we can develop the spiritual consciousness. Then, as Krishna says, Yat karoshi, whatever you do it as an offering to me. So whatever profession we do, if we do it as if this is some service Krishna has given me, this is something Krishna has asked me to do, he has appointed me to do this, if we do it with that consciousness, then we are doing Yat karoshi Madarpanam, we are offering it to Krishna. So by doing this, we can, there's a beautiful expression in a bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that I forgot the words of the bhajan, Bengali I always struggle with, but it says that once while performing devotional service, I saw my house being transformed into Goloka. So His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj once attended a wedding of his disciples, both were his disciples, and in that wedding he blessed them, and after the wedding he sent them a letter, and that letter was published on Maharaj's Facebook page. So I happened to read that, and in that Maharaj gave them very sweet blessings, and he gave them blessings that they live as nice grihasthas. So yes, that bhajan from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the words are Ye dina grihe bhajana dekhi grihe te golok bhaya. One day while performing bhakti, while doing my devotional service, I saw my house getting transformed into Golaka. So that is from Sharanagati, that's written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So the blessings Indradumna Maharaj gave this couple was really beautiful. Maharaj said that may the Lord always be in the center of your grihastha life. May your house be, may the Lord fill your house with beautiful Krishna conscious children. May He bless you with unlimited devotional service opportunities within this house, and may this house be always full of guests who are satisfied. Krishna conscious people, they always are ready to open their house so that other people can also experience, they can also get a taste of Krishna consciousness. So Maharaj gave them this blessing that may you always have this house full of contented guests, and when all is said and done, may Krishna at the end of life, may he transport you along with your children, may he transport you to his Goloka, may he transform this house into Goloka, and may he at the end of your life transport you to Goloka. Because Srila Prabhupada said that one day we will have our ISKCON in Goloka Vrindavan. So with that, we'll end today's class. If I have missed any points or if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask.
No, you were mentioning about Vyasta interview so much. So nice club. I was just remembering Article with his father. He's bedridden. But whenever we go to visit him, he's like, he's like, he's there. He's always like, whenever he wakes up, even sleeping also, that's the effect.
That's a proof, that practice, if we keep that practice, it will come to us at the end of our life. Yeah. We recently lost a family member, and I always, since they got this illness, I always told that person, please try to chant. And I told shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna promises that if you remember me at the end of your life, you will come to me and you will never have to come back. But that person honestly accepted that the pain is so much that all I can think of is pain, and then I can think of my family. That even if I try to, I cannot do what you are already doing at this young age. That person said, even if I try, I'm not able to do it. I can only focus on pain and my family. So that's the proof. Dhṛtarāṣṭra Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.